so you could squeeze 1.5 people in here.
Full disclosure, this is a sponsored video by Nightcat, and the best part of that is I'd already planned to make this video, and then Nightcat contacted me offering to sponsor it, and I'm such a corporate shill that I said yes. Good morning. Now, I often get criticised for the fact that I go camping in quite expensive tents. Tents costing £400 to maybe £600. That's not accessible for the majority of people who want to go camping. So in this video, I'm going to take a quick look at two tents that are affordable, but they also are what I'd say reasonably high performance. They're lightweight. They're both under 1.5 kilograms. One of them's just about a kilogram, and they've both got pretty good performance. You could use them in maybe up to 2-3 seasons. But the problem is, to do that, we're gonna have to go and wake up the world's grumpiest man. Let's go. Oh, you're awake?
Yes.
How'd you sleep?
Not well. Not well at all.
You were pitched in a bit of a wind tunnel. I've realized.
Recommended by what person?
Yeah, so last night it was really windy between, well, pretty much when we arrived until about 2 a.m. I slept quite well. I slept from 10 until midnight when I was woken by the sound of someone coughing a lung up.
The wind didn't wake him, but me.
Yes, you coughing. And he coughed several times during the night and woke me up.
Maybe he needs better earplugs.
Let's take a look at these tents. We'll start with Gary's tent. Gary's tent is
Old Faithful
OEX Phoexx 1. This is a tent that costs £59. This was the first wild camping tent that I ever had, and the reason I like this tent is because it's quite small, it's low to the ground, so even though it's a cheap budget tent, it can still handle pretty rough conditions because it's low profile, means that the wind doesn't catch it.
I can now attest to that.
Yes.
Except the wind still will wake you up periodically.
Yeah, if it's really windy, it's still going to wake you up.
Yeah.
It weighs 1.5 kilos?
1.5, 1.6, depending on your pegs, trail weight, how you kit it out, but roughly 1.5 to 1.6.
Yeah, and the outer has a hydrostatic head, 5,000, and it's made from polyester. We'll take a look inside.
Oh, there's no one should ever go in there now.
Is it full of farts?
Not exactly. Stephen gifted me one of his sleeping bags many eons ago, and he warned me the down was starting to come out of it ever so slightly.
Is it full of down?
I woke up, that looked like I had mutilated a chicken in the middle of the night. I don't like being exposed like this.
It is a bit of a coffin.
It was. I almost died last night. Yes, the camera will pick up and move nicely.
Yeah, so not a huge amount of space in it. Do you want to get in it?
No.
And you can demonstrate how much space there is.
You cannot sit up in it. That's all I'm saying. And watching me trying to get changed and assemble things in the morning is fun, to say the least. But for the most part, it does the job better than tents twice that price. It is good for the good weather months when you're spending 90% of your time outside of the tent.
So yeah, okay, so the Phoexx 1 version 2, don't act...
2 pages of script left.
Oh,
I worked on them all night.
We've heard enough. The Phoexx 1 version 2, don't accidentally buy the version 1 because it's even smaller than this. So this tent, great, budget tent, 59 quid. There is enough space in that vestibule to cook, correct?
Yes, just about, but be very, very...
Right, well look at my tent now. My tent, different style of tent. It's a trekking pole tent. This is the Nightcat Ultralight 1-person trekking pole tent. Now, I'm going to address an issue here because a lot of you will be looking at this and yelling, "That's a Lanshan!" And yes, it is a Lanshan, sort of. This is made in exactly the same factory by the same people who make Lanshan. It's just Nightcat have the license to make their own branded version. So for all intents and purposes, it is a Lanshan, but it's a Nightcat branded version. Now, just to be clear, this has some advantages over some versions of the Lanshan you can find in it. This is seam sealed. This is made from sil nylon with a 5,000 hydrostatic head, and it is seam sealed, so you don't have to do that. It arrives and it's good to go. I've got this currently pitched very close to the ground. You can pitch this much higher off the ground. The reason I did that was very windy last night. So I was trying to stop the wind getting in onto the tent. You can see this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pegging points. So it is like, it's pretty, like, it is a stable tent. To pitch this one, it's quite fast. You just peg in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, stick your trekking pole in the middle, and then peg out the front here. Now, there's a couple of options when it comes to pegging this out. You can actually attach this guy rope down here, and if you do that, that brings this up much higher. But again, I was just keeping it low last night. But you can pitch this in about 2-3 minutes easily. That one takes slightly longer. It would take Gary about 15 minutes. It would take me about 5.
Depending if you have someone helping you as the rain descends upon you.
Last night I helped Gary pitch it, and it still took us about 5 minutes. That's another disadvantage with the Phoexx. The Phoexx is an inner pitch first, so it's a nightmare to pitch if it's rainy. Whereas you can pitch this one innie and outie at the same time.
As long as you have a friend to weigh down the other end of the tent as the wind tries to rip it from your fingers.
We both provided assistance to each other's pitching.
I was a weight.
You was a weight.
I've never been a weight before.
What you're trying to say is, Gary, you're a burden. You look so hurt.
Cue sad music.
Am
I too much of a burden?
What? No, no, that didn't mean.
Am I too much of a
You're
burden?
not a burden, you're an assistance. Can you hold the camera for me? I didn't mean it. As much as you think.
I have been upgraded to tripod.
So you can lift this up like this, put another pole here and peg it out, and then you get a little bit of it covered. You just roll that boy up. You can open up both of these sides, which I will do. Right, thank you, Gary. No longer required. You will diminish and go into the west. Okay, that just fell down on me a bit. Right, just imagine that vestibule is still down, and there is enough space there to put a rucksack. You could squeeze a 40 to probably 60, 70 litre rucksack here in the vestibule without too much trouble. Now, if you've arrived here from the blue-green algae video, this might not be what you're expecting. You might be expecting a well-researched journalistic piece, or some high-class cinematography, but to be honest, I'm kind of exhausted at the minute, and I just needed to make a simple video. There's my boots. Pretend they're in the vestibule. Okay, so space-wise in here, there is actually quite a bit. This is a wide sleeping mat, and when it's at the edge here, on this side, I've actually got enough space that I could lie on the other side of the mat. So you could squeeze 1.5 people in here if you really needed to. There is a good amount of space in it. It's more space inside than I thought there would be. Like all down this side, you could fit a 70 litre rucksack down there. I've got about a foot of space up at the top here. It's tall enough in the middle to sit up in. Uses a single trekking pole. Although my head does touch the side. It comes in like a pyramid, so if I sit here, my head doesn't touch anything. If I sit here, my head touches something, head touching something, head touching something. And this back mesh comes in at quite a steep angle, so when you're sitting, that will touch your head as well. But it's a heck of a lot more spacious than Gary's little tiny tent. Let me bring in. Alright, welcome in. We've got a little hook up here in the ceiling, so you can hook a lantern to this, which is pretty cool. And then up here we've got this very small tiny pocket. And that's pretty much it for, actual organization of storage. I slept pretty well. I was impressed. Are you peeing over there?
No.
I can just see the top.
Windbreaker didn't.
I can just see the top of his head over the top of a rope. You look like you were taking a leak.
No. This will be taken out of the video.
Yeah, I'll take this out of the video. What'd you just say?
This will be my last camping adventure with Steve.
No, before that, what'd you ask me was I doing?
Nope. You're older than me.
What did you ask me was I doing? Gary just asked me, was I taping? As if he's like a 70-year-old.
Stephen is 38 years old.
No one has called this taping since 1985.
I wasn't alive.
Yeah, you weren't even alive in 1985. How are you the oldest young person ever?
I have the body of an 84-year-old man right now.
True.
Wants to go back to his care home.
You should have seen him hiking up here last night. I mean, hiking is a generous term for what he was doing. It was more sort of
Dragged unwillingly against my will. You've always wondered, folks, that am I actually here of my own choice? No. I can now safely say I've been held hostage for, well over a decade now. Stephen keeps me in a storage cupboard.
every channel needs a crazy neighbour. Gone but not forgotten.
Gone but not forgotten. If you don't see me, Stephen was the last one to see me alive. Please, you should speak to him when you can't find my body. He'll let you know where he put it.
Oh, they'll never find them. One disadvantage with trekking pole tents is that they can be a little tricky to pitch. This pitch isn't exactly flat. What that can mean is that your inner can end up touching the outer if you don't manage to get a completely flat pitch. But I didn't have any problems last night with condensation dripping on me or anything like that, so I didn't really consider it a huge problem. Right, if I could only have one of these tents, which one would I choose? Well, it depends on the type of camping I do. For me, personally, for the type of camping I do, I would pick the Lanshan every time because I tend to use trekking poles, which saves me half a kilo over the Phoexx. It's substantially bigger inside. I've got a lot more space. I can cook in it. I can change in it. I'd be able to use it in probably a wider variety of conditions comfortably. Probably the only reason I would get the Phoexx personally is if I was mostly doing sort of summit camps in windy conditions, mostly in the summer, then I might get the Phoexx. Or if I needed a tent that's more stealthy because the darker green is slightly harder to see. But otherwise, if I had the cash, I would get the Nightcat. Gonna be giving this a whirl for my breakfast this morning. This is a tiny tent meals meal. Look at the size of it. But that's 500 calories, and this is a sour cherry and chocolate breakfast. Give it a stir. Sour cherry and chocolate. It's all right.
You're double nut.
This is an optimistic man applying sun cream.
Please stop.
At the end of summer.
Please stop. How do you think I stay so pale? If anything, now when the mountain rescue comes for us, I will reflect the light and be an excellent.
Do you know those fish that live in caves and are like completely white because they've never seen the sun?
Good man.
I knew you planted that box.
The best part with all that was as soon as I activated the fart machine, Gary fell over. Hopefully this video maybe gives you a little bit of an insight into two good sort of budget, but what am I saying here?
Stephen asks you to do anything, always say no till you know exactly.
No, that's not what I want. I'm trying to figure out a way of ending this video. It's about, look, there's two tents, both have good points and bad points. We've already discussed them. Maybe this will help you make a purchasing decision. Maybe not. I've got links down in the description if you're interested in the tents. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see a video where I put in actually more effort, you can have a look at either this video or this video that's now covering Gary's face.